Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and a very interesting topic which Pacman brought up on the podcast a couple of days ago. The fact being that Octane so far this season hasn't quite looked like that absolute god tier level performances that we saw from him the last couple of years. What is the reason for that? Is this year not necessarily just his year, or is that coming down to the fact that he's making more content as of late, putting more focus into content, potentially taking away from his performances in these matchups? What impact does that actually have? And maybe we'll look at some of the other players as well and figure out what impact this potentially has on their performances in the long haul. I'm not sure it really has one, but I'm intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, thought this is kind of funny from place. My name is Crimsix and I have the night vision goggles. Seeing these type of images fly all over the place lately, pretty entertaining stuff. And well, these are the matchups this week, just to mention the fact that Empire versus New York Subliners is going to be a rematch right here on the Friday. We saw these two teams play at the Kickoff Classic. Didn't go necessarily so well for Clayster and the New York Subliners, but yeah, Clay versus his old team doesn't get too much better than that once again. Excited to see how this one ends up for these guys. And also, as Landon points out right here, this will be the first time that Clayster and Prestinni play each other since the E-United split after the Black Ops 4 World Championship victory. Pretty crazy to see because, well, of course, Prestinni now on Seattle Surge, when Clayster was on the Dallas Empire, and well, actually it was Prestinni on the Florida Mutineers for a time, and they didn't play each other while that was the case, and then into, of course, when Prestinni went on to Chicago Huntsmen, they didn't play the Dallas Empire again right there. So this is the first time those two are going to be playing each other. Yeah, another exciting matchup and more rivalries to keep your eyes on for this coming week. So I'll play this clip that Pacman has to say on the podcast. Some pretty interesting stuff here. We talked yesterday the fact that, look, Octane is in an interesting spot right now where his entire team got dropped to the end of last season, but Seattle decided to keep him on. But at the end of this season, his contract expires, that, you know, the 1+1 type stuff is now over. And therefore, he might be looking for other options, trying to get onto another team, or at least, build a team around him again, which maybe will have more success than this team will this season. Who really knows how the season goes, but I don't imagine this team is necessarily competing for championships. And maybe because he feels like committing for championships is going to be tough, maybe there's more of a content focus, and a focus which is potentially taking away from his performances. My perspective is, look, you can play Call of Duty like 8-10 hours a day, but if you play too much more than that, you're not going to be necessarily improving too much more than that, right? So therefore, it seems to make sense to me, if you play Call of Duty X hours a day, why not put in another couple of hours just to, make some sort of great content? I don't really think that's going to detract away from, how well you're performing in the title. And I think that, players have certainly shown that in previous seasons. We'll look at Scump, especially in the Black Ops 3 days, for example. And, the benefit is for us fans that Octane has been making some absolute bangers.
Sam, more power to him. His content has been great. Like, he's putting out content all over the place. Check it out. But his gameplay isn't, when I watch him, I'm like, he shoots super straight still. He's never not going to shoot super straight. But I'm not watching someone that's dominant on the map. He's spreading himself super thin. And if he's actually going to go back to like being the best main AR, at least in respawns, like the guy you watch, you're like, this guy's just different. He's got to cut it out. Now, if that's not what you want to do with your life, I fully understand. If you don't feel like your team could win, I get it. Do all the content. But if you actually want to give your team a chance to win, I feel like you can't do it. It's just too much. You can't.
That's a good point.
That.
I mean,
if you're gonna be the best. If you're going to be the best, if you're going to be that guy smoking people.
So this is one of the videos that Octane came up with a few days ago. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this already. This is by far the favourite video I've ever made. So he hired a pro CDL coach. Absolutely hilarious stuff that this coach was like saying how Octane was washed or whatever. And honestly was super well done. And great to see some content like this arrive to the scene. But Pacman's kind of implying like, look, if Octane's going down this route to making more content, is this taken away from his performances as a professional player? Maybe not so focused on being the best player you can possibly be. I'm not sure that's fully the case, though. I think that players, if they manage their time properly, they can certainly do both. And maybe the reason why Octane hasn't put up quite the numbers so far this title is because it doesn't just necessarily favour assault rifles playing in the traditional way. We look at last year, for example, in Modern Warfare, it was very much a case of if you're an assault rifle, you're sitting at the back, you've got 4 players in front of you rushing with SMGs. It's very, very easy for you to pick up very easy kills and drop a 1.3 if you want to, if that's the playstyle that you have on your team and that's the way your team is designed. This title, though, even if you're a great assault rifle player, we've seen so far it's not so easy. Like, the assault rifles aren't necessarily always dropping massive numbers. I mean, the SMGs definitely have a harder time of things still, but still, Octane so far this year, he's dropped about a 1.0, 1.1 in some of these series. Nothing spectacular, nothing like Octane numbers. It's really been Gunless at times that's been taken over, especially that series they won against the Royal Ravens, but Octane certainly had his moments as well. So maybe this game just plays slightly differently to the point where, like, your main assault rifle isn't necessarily putting up the same numbers that they were, for example, in Modern Warfare. And that's why maybe Pacman thinks that Octane's fallen off somewhat, but in reality, maybe, he's just playing a role that makes sense for this new team, and he's still the player that he was. I don't think he's, fallen off or anything, even though this coach right here thinks that Octane's washed, so maybe he has a point, I don't really know. But there's certainly been other players that have been making great content as well. We've seen Envoy really step up his YouTube game as of late. I don't really see how this detracts from his gameplay, right? Yes, he's streaming a fair bit. Streaming is always the question mark as to how much that detracts. Does it make it more difficult to have honest conversations with your team? Does it allow other teams to actually, see what you're doing and stuff like this? Does it allow you to be super honest and super upfront with the stuff you're talking about on your stream? If you want to have an argument and talk about how you want to play a situation, you might be a bit concerned to do so because it's on stream and therefore it's going to get clipped and all this type of stuff. We're going to talk about it on the channel, etc, etc. But as Envoy says right here, master rank question mark, good little title thing right here. We've got the emoji in the title, definitely taking some good tips, but some great videos coming out from these guys, of course, as of late so far this season. A number of players doing some great things. Envoy, of course, streaming. Scump has been kind of the go-to man for content stuff these last several years in Call of Duty. And I think what you really will notice, the fact that when Scump is actually making content on a consistent basis, that actually tends to be some of his best years as a Call of Duty professional. You can see right here, this is Octane stuff on the verge of 100,000 subscribers as well. So, congratulations to Octane when he does hit it. I'm sure it's just around the corner. But making a lot of videos you can see right here. And obviously a lot of this content is really, really good. Really happy to see some great content around the Call of Duty scene. I'm super happy that players are actually doing this now. And I don't think that they think necessarily it's detracting from their gameplay. And we've seen this really back in the day, right? And also Simp's channel has been doing particularly well. We see aBeZy making videos, we see Attach making videos, there's Enable as well, who of course now retired, but he's been making some good content, so it doesn't really get too much better than this from a competitive Call of Duty perspective, that a number of our big name players are making content now on a consistent basis. And I certainly hope that they don't think that it's detracting from their gameplay to some degree, and the fact that Simp is doing it is really good to me, right? Because Simp is one of the greatest players that we have. I don't think there's any doubt about that. If you were building a team and you let's say the entire league was free agents, you had to pick one player in the entire league to build around, I think that Simp is probably got to be that guy right now. And the fact that he's making content and building his personality and building people's awareness of him is great to see. And I thought I'd mention it in this video because a lot of people talk about, okay, none of these other guys, none of these other teams make content, but that's likely because you just don't see them in your recommended, because you're seeing Envoy and Scump and the ones that get a lot of views, whereas honestly Simp's content has been doing really well as well. So wanted to shout out some of the other players that are also making good content that don't necessarily get the limelight they maybe deserve quite as of yet, but Simp's almost at 20k subs, that is good to see. But Scump, of course, at 2.6 million subscribers, still banging out the videos pretty much on a daily basis. But what you guys might remember was way back in the day, Black Ops 2, he was obviously killing the content. Black Ops 3 as well, he made a lot of great videos. You can see right here, I just searched up Scump Black Ops 3 in the YouTube search bar. We see this video, from Scump 3 years ago, 5 years ago as well. Nuketown in Black Ops 3, and then he actually goes back to Black Ops 3 a little bit later. But what you will find here is that during this title, he made an awful lot of great content. And in the games that he actually wasn't as good at, those were the games he was making less content, right? So, in my opinion, it almost might be the other way round to what Pacman's saying. The fact that if you're a guy like Scump and you really enjoy the game, that's going to mean you're going to make more content on the game, you're going to spend more time on the game, you're going to, play some extra public matches or league play after you get off from scrims to then make some additional content, which is, going to maybe improve your game and at least, more reps on the game, probably going to make you even better. We saw in titles like World War II, for example, Modern Warfare as well, the Scump didn't really like and didn't have the greatest of years on. Those are actually the games that he made much less content on. So it seems to me that when Scump's made a lot of content on a game, those are the games he tends to be the best at because he enjoys them the most, and therefore he's putting in the most time, and also making great content on the game as well, and the games that he doesn't make content on are actually his worst titles. So maybe it works the other way around, right? The fact that Octane and these other guys are making content on this game means they're playing the game more than they would otherwise, and therefore, maybe they're in even a better position to, do well and drop numbers in professional matches. But as I said, maybe you haven't seen that quite from Octane as yet, and really some other assault rifles as well. We've seen it from Los Angeles Thieves, for example. You look at Slasher, right, on that team, we're expecting him to drop super numbers once again, but it's actually been the other guys on this team, the SMGs, the Flexers like Kenny, that actually have been putting up the big numbers so far. Maybe that'll change over time, but just something to keep your eyes on. You guys may certainly agree or disagree in the comment section below. Just a couple of things to finish off the video. Thought this was funny from Zuma, if you remember good times at Attach, so way back in the World War II days that we were just discussing here, FaZe Clan versus this Earth Root team, whoever exactly they were playing, just completely shooting bodies in the capture the flag. This is why I like Control, actually, the fact that some CTF games could just be over, right? We've got a minute 30 left, and this game is just long over, and they're shooting bodies for a long time, at least in Control, things get kind of interesting all the way down to the wire. And I thought I'd share this clip as well for you guys about Zuma actually doing some great casting here. And well, if he can't play any longer, I'd love to see him potentially on the casting desk or the analyst desk or something. I think it'd be really entertaining, and well, certainly he has the talent for it. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
Two here, and Cross, this might be the end of this round.
Yeah, it might be chalked for this round. Venom has a good crossfire with his teammates. He's going to be able to stay alive. Dylan Rex is going to put some shots into him. Dylan Rex needs to make a play here. He's going to get the nade down. I don't know if he gets the kill. He does pick up the kill, and he stays alive with his life. Pollux is caught here in the open. Could Dylan Rex take him down? He's going to get shots fired from multiple people. He's going to take down another one, and he's going to stay alive, and he's going to go around the truck. His teammate comes in, and it's Timmy. He picks up another one, and just like that, it's a 2v1 situation for UT Crew. This is unbelievable plays at a UT Crew as they make it a 2v1 situation. Zap is in a 1v1.